You're watching WowBiz Nebraska. I'm Lynn Hinderaker. I've been here for 8 years trying to help you grow your company and grow your civic community. And that's what we're going to talk about initially at the beginning of this show. I also have something very powerful and useful at the back end of this show as we talk about strategy. A lot of companies think there's only one or two ways to do things. And I'm going to share with you 15 or 16 different variations, different ways to add value to your products or your services. But let's get back to the beginning of this show. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to stick my neck way out here and say, this is not a local TV show. It's not. This is a day of cultural momentum. I'm going to use that phrase, cultural momentum. This is a time for all of us, but particularly those of us who live in or around the greater Omaha area, we realize that something powerful is going on downtown. It's chaotic, it's difficult, it's construction, there's issues, there's challenges, retailers don't know where their customers went. It's a really interesting period of time just to kind of watch what's happening and all the construction and so on. But I want to tell you something. It's going to be beautiful. We know that. It's going to take us another year or two before we're really ready to release and show everybody what we've got or what we've become. By the way, think about the last time in your entire life where you felt like you'd worked and you'd hard and you'd gone this. Maybe it was like high school or college graduation, something where you could look at everybody and said, I did it, we made it, etc. You might see that in the Metropolitan Community College ads that are out there these days. This is what people are demonstrating. But I think we're going to be doing that, and in regards to Omaha in particular, of course, downtown particularly. But if that's the case, we need to be thinking and maybe doing more than we're doing right now insofar as creating a theme, some kind of an idea. We need to stand for something, not we don't do this and we don't do that, right? Now is our opportunity with all this incredible stuff. It started with the riverfront revitalization, and now we've got all this stuff going on, Mutual of Omaha, of course, downtown. But the key idea is, what are people going to say about us? And when those words come out of the mouth, or they're talking, somebody having a cup of coffee or a drink, and they're saying, have you seen Omaha? Have you been over there lately? And at that moment, that's the moment, isn't it? Where people raise their eyebrows and say, yeah, wow. Or they say, yeah, I don't know, it's Nebraska, what can I say, right? That's going to be a key moment. And so we need a theme. We need a new hook. Now, I know some of you aren't marketing oriented, but many of you are. We all know that it's extremely important to drive sales, attract businesses, attract entrepreneurs, and just get as much action, economic action going as possible. But it's not only just that, by the way, it's kind of how do I say this without sounding corny? It's heart and soul, right? It's connecting somehow at some level, kind of letting your identity merge into a broader identity as well. So I'm going to open this show, and we'll stay with this for a little bit. And I'm going to share an idea with you I think is a winner. I think it's a home run, and it's so powerful, so practical, so idealistic that people will say, I don't know what to say. So here's what it is. I'm going to start with this question right here. I'm going to ask you this question. Have you ever seen opposites come together in a variety of different ways, right? Could be two pictures, one's black, one's white, and you put them together, that kind of thing, but then you go deeper in that way. And so what do you have there? You have a very interesting symbol of unity, a very interesting symbol of the word B-O-T-H, both. Now, when John Ewing was, perform as mayor, and he came out of the box and he said, here's what my vision is. I want all of us to come together, all right, to live the good life. That's everybody. We want everybody to live the good life and to live that good life together. When he won the mayoral contest, this is the first thing that he said. It was a fresh idea. And I love the idea, and I love the phrase I'm going to share with you right now because it augments what he said. And here's the word, all right? I'm going to show it to you here in just a minute. I think you can maybe see it on your screen. It's called UrbaNatural. That's the word. And the word obviously pulls together opposites. Urban means technology, change, movement, citified, so to speak. And then, of course, natural is rural and serene and organic and sustainable, right? Sustainability. And you take these two opposite mindsets or attitudes and you squish them together into one word. And it's a word, by the way, that comes off the tongue quite easily, doesn't it? UrbaNatural. It's an easy word to say. And in between, holding those two separate words together and forming something special and unique is an N, a capital N, of course. And so if you want to talk about if that's Nebraska or national, we can talk about that. But UrbaNatural Omaha, right? Let's rechristen our downtown. Let's rechristen our city and call it UrbaNatural Omaha. I have a feeling a lot of people would be comfortable with it, but more importantly, the people that are attracted to it, besides the current citizens, are people from around the upper Midwest region, whether they're over in Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, South Dakota, whatever. These are people that will say, yes, I want to be urban, but I really like the whole kind of down-to-earth, rural, natural. The next person will say something a little bit different. They'll say, I love like greenery, and a lot of beautiful plants and stuff. But then if you put them right next to, say, a cement hole with water and cascading down, or some kind of cement landscape, and all of a sudden now you've got this softness and you've got hardness. Now I know this probably sounds, he's getting good. That's exactly where we're going right here in this particular segment. And that's why people go, it's a place where opposites don't battle or fight with each other, right? But actually complement each other. It's a powerful idea. In fact, listen to this. Back in 1981, that's a long time ago, I guess, two scientists received the Nobel Prize for measuring the brain, the human brain, over a period of 30 years. And specifically, they measured what happened inside the human brain when somebody just looks at something that is, we'll call it visually high contrast. I just mentioned the example with plants and cement and so on and so forth. It could be a picture, it could be material, it could be wood and metal or wood and glass on the outside of a building. That'd be another great example. Or if you go inside McDonald's or Runza and you see the dining room and you see all these tables and chairs, if you take a close look, what you're looking at there is some beautiful wood right next to a metal, like a metal chair, and the two of them are woven together in some kind of a furniture setup and so on. Very interesting, all right? The architects that created this, very sharp people, but they may not fully understand what I'm going to call right now neuroaesthetics. Now, I know this is a long ways away from what I was talking about with the mayor and all that, but it really isn't. That's the beauty of it, right? Complementarity, pulling opposites together to create a new type of energy. This is what a person who's just graduated over in Des Moines or maybe Atlantic, Iowa, and kind of trying to figure out what to do with himself, and just thinking about this. And I heard a little bit about Omaha. It seemed like a kind of a cool place to go and check out, I don't know. And they get over there and they hear this word, UrbaNatural, and then while they're looking at the exterior of a building or the interior, once again, with organic and synthetic, right? Pulling opposites together. So exciting. Has a racial quality, has a socioeconomic quality. There are people over here, they live a certain way. People over here live a certain way. Mary Ewing said, let's all come together now. Let's all come together and share the strengths and the ideas and the aspirations that we all cultivate and can share and deepen our strength and make us magnetic. Not just an attractive, nice, middle-aged city, but something that is truly magnetic because it's operating on a large scientific theme, right? And you can take a look at some flowers and cement and, put them all together and say, that's kind of cool the way that sits there. I get it. That's kind of an UrbaNatural setup. Or the water cascading, but then there's also this heart. You've seen this before, but you didn't know what to call it. And again, these people that won the Nobel Prize, it was for neuroaesthetics. Now, not many people are going to remember that word, but I just want you to know it's scientifically valid. Pulling opposites together generates new energy. The energy goes through the human brain, yours and mine, goes back to the visual cortex. Just going to stop here and say the back of the visual cortex. This is new energy that is going on in your body and your consciousness, really, when you see opposites pulled together in some whatever context. We're talking about using it as a theme, a marketing theme, a theme to get people excited about coming to Omaha, Nebraska and seeing the revitalization, the energy, and so the transformation. Let's just call it what it is, shall we? All right, so that is a very interesting way to begin. This is a cultural moment where we can generate new momentum. There's almost this sense that you can reach out and meet people and interact with people and share and learn, maybe in a way that you couldn't do before. Maybe that was unsaid. I don't quite know exactly how that all worked. But the bottom line is we have a lot going for us, but we need to take it further. Instead of sitting back and saying, this place is a mess. I don't know if I even want to go downtown anymore. I just don't know. Forget that. Say to yourself, this is the platform. This is the beginning of some incredible, not just incredible people or events, but incredible perceptions where there'll be more energy than anybody else actually realizes is going to be raised up in front of us. We've got all these incredible developments and so on. We have to feed those buildings, feed those companies with new people, new money, new action, new attitude, new respect, and new collaboration. Let's get together. There is a tendency to be parochial. Well, we just do our thing over here and we think we're the best, so we're just going to sit here and do that. Those days are over. Those days are over. And of course, UrbaNatural Omaha would be the catalyst, the trigger for a deeper understanding of who they are, who your city, who they are, and this is the killer, right? Who you are. Who you are. You fit so well into this notion of UrbaNatural Omaha, UrbaNatural design. We're talking about applications in interior design, exterior design, and so on. Absolutely. So you see, there's a lot underneath all this, and it begins in 1981, and it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. A gentleman named Richard Florida came to Omaha about 25, 30 years ago and did a great presentation about this basic concept of bringing in people from outside, people that are a little bit different perhaps than what we are used to seeing, but they were going to add to the how do I say it, the texture of the entire city. That's right. So now you know about neuroaesthetics, you know about UrbaNatural Omaha, you know about the opportunity we have to rechristen our city and say, hey, don't get distracted by what's on the ground. Look in your head, look in your heart, connect. UrbaNaturalism brings it all together. Brings it all together, absolutely. You can see right here we see UrbaNatural Omaha. Absolutely. I'm Lynn Hinderaker. We'll be right back after our promotional sponsor. This week, WowBiz Nebraska is brought to you by Charisma Coaching. This is a boutique company here in the Omaha area focusing on a very large and important idea, which is how you and you and you and you find your identity and package it in a way that the marketplace is eager to meet you, to see you, to do business with you. There is a difference between the way you are right now, and the way you're going to be after you've gone through 6 months of coaching that will enable you to do the following things. You will be a much better communicator, much better speaker. You will have a better wardrobe, and you'll know how to walk and appeal to people around you without working at it. You'll have a look, you'll have a package, you'll have a brand, you'll stand for something, even if you can't articulate it that well, but you'll know, and because of the reaction that people have to you based upon your dress, but also speech, your ability to just communicate and talk using the right words at the right time. And so people feel like they're going to lean in. I'll use that phrase. They're going to lean in, and this person right here has got something to say. I can tell the words they're using, the way they use their hands, their body language. They're very comfortable with themselves. I kind of want to be with this person because I sense that there is some fresh and exciting energy emanating from them. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to do this. If you're a salesperson, if you're a real estate person, if you're a small business owner, you want to be charismatic. You want to be able to radiate and attract new energy, and you can get that done with Charisma Coaching. Charisma Coaching is a 6-month program. Check it out. What a great show we have here on WowBiz Nebraska. We've been doing this for 8 years, and every single show builds on the previous show, and there's this sense that, there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to share. So we're so excited to have you with us. Now, one of the most common things, we're going to go through this entire portion of our show back here at the end. People are under the premise or the assumption that there's really only 1 or 2 ways to sell our product. We work hard at it. We think we're really good. People tell us we're good at what we do. We hang it up right here, or we have somebody over there call people about it, depending on what it is. And that's it. That's pretty much it. We'd like you to buy our product, and, we think it's really great. I run into this basic attitude every day, every time I'm speaking to people around the entire community here in Omaha and in Nebraska as well. It's the same thing. It's like, what else can I do? So I'm going to show you right now a graphic that has 16 colorful blocks. A little difficult to see. This is I've been showing this around for many years, but I'm going to hold it up right now, and you'll see 16 blocks, of course, with different type on each one of them. These are labels, real simple labels, to describe your positioning and your strategy. It's nothing less than that. Your strategy. How do we sell more of these, dear? Right? Hey, Mr. Sales Manager, how do we sell? Utilizing some of these words here, these blocks, I don't know what we do. Can we work with these? And here we go, right? So I'm going to go through them one by one, and we'll throw up the graphic or the chart periodically as we go through them. But there's a lot more ways to create value, create a profit, and get your product sold to a broader realm or a broader segment of people. So here we go. The very first person, you know about this, the very first person or type of company is an aggregator. All right, this is an interesting strategy. This is when you pull together a product over here that is complementary with a product over here, or you can flip it around and talk about aggregating customer segments. These people over here, these happen to be women, over 50, and our product is great for them, but we can easily sell them maybe another product, kind of an add-on thing. So we aggregate the product, create more value, sell more money, sell more of whatever it is. And so that's aggregating, and that's a very successful strategy in some industries. Let's go on to the next one. Category leader. Now this is an important idea. If you like branding, right, you need to be a category leader. You can't kind of hustle around in the back and jump up and then be gone and so on. You want to be known as a leader in the industry. You have the newest stuff. You have the highest quality. You attract people and pay them a lot of money, maybe more money than average. And so that's how, and you walk around with the assumption you behave like a leader. We're the leader in this and that industry, and We're not going to be pushed around or dictated to. We know our product. We know our customer. We're doing some interesting things with this guy and that guy. So we know what we're doing. We're the category leaders, and we articulate that position all the time in our brochures and so on. Okay, well, and of course they're going to charge a slightly larger margin. They're going to be more profitable. A category leader does. Then the next one is a consolidator. Now this is a person that spends a lot of work, a lot of time hustling around, consolidating all these fragments. You know, this is how the franchise industry has worked. There are many individual family-owned companies, and you see them all over the place. Maybe they do well, maybe they don't do so well. Maybe their costs are just too high, right? So a franchisor sends out a representative and says, hey, let's put our company right up here on your business or near it, whatever, and we'll lower the cost of your products that you have to sell. You make a greater profit, and we might even be able to hook you into this situation over here, or a company over there that has complementary products with what you sell. What do you think? Right? That's a consolidator. Takes a lot of creativity and hustle to get it done, but a lot of franchisees go, okay, I'm open for that. All right, let's go on to the next one. A customizer. Now, this is the opposite. Customizer is like, and by the way, this is probably the single most dominant trend in business today. Personalization, customization. Whenever you go to a convenience store and they say, do you have our point system? Do you have perks? Yeah. Okay, well, it looks like I'm adding up here and you've got some 1,100, da-da-da. You can get some free coffee or you can get a 10% reduction on your gas because of who you are and the little card that you have that identifies you and so on. Well, that's a big idea, and it's getting a lot bigger. And just about every company is going, you know, maybe every single thing we do should be personalized somehow. I don't know if it's a card or not, but certainly people identify with something that just feels perfect for them. It's exciting. All right, now, a disintermediator. This is a person or a company that comes into an industry that's stagnant and cuts it up, or says, well, the customer's clear over there, and they're hard to get to, and you got to charge extra and so on. So let's find a way to disintermediate. In other words, cut the distance between our company and that company over there or those people over there, right? We got to somehow accelerate it, and so it's not so difficult to sell. You got to break it down, break the system down, maybe find some distributors in that area that can handle it instead. So a disintermediary, that's very interesting. Now, we also have an experience provider. This may be the big idea. It's a little bit like the customization thing, but it has an emotional component. It definitely has to be emotional. And of course, we know all brands are supposed to be emotional or evoke this sense of, I really like this, and this is really cool, and I like coming here, and I'll buy a couple of these because this is really a cool place, you know. Yeah, that's an experience provider, maybe a photographer or somebody that sets up an audio production team, you know, and you bring somebody in and they are being given an experience, and it will last with them, you know, their whole lives. All right, then we go further here. How about this? How about a fast follower? Now, I got to tell you, probably, oh my goodness, 40 to 50% of all businesses, especially smaller ones, they would consider themselves a fast follower. In other words, they're looking for the trends, they're looking who's doing what, who's succeeding, we're not doing that well. I tell you what, we'll just do what they do and change it a little bit, you know, and we'll be like them, and we'll probably do just about as well as they're doing right now. Yeah, okay, that's a fast follower. All right, then we have an innovator, all right? This is a very important concept because, and especially here in Nebraska, I got to tell you, but it's all over the place, this happens everywhere, is that the product starts to become priced under. People say, your competitor gave me a better price, that kind of thing. So you go, we got to come up with a new product that we can make a good margin on, you know? And so they look around and they study. They might bring in somebody from outside to do some focus groups or do some interviews. What would you think? What would you like this? What do these guys do? You buy anything similar to that? Oh, yeah. Tell me, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to go back and tell them we're going to innovate. I love this phrase, innovate to be great. I love that phrase, and it's actually very applicable. So anyway, oftentimes if you're a little bit lucky and you work hard at it, you can be kind of the industry leader if you know how to innovate. I'm going to keep on going rapidly. Platform provider is somebody that knows how to operate on the ground. They have people going door to door, but they also work in the digital realm, and they're great in trade shows. So now they have these 3 platforms. They're everywhere. They're kind of swarming around the marketplace, and obviously they're covering the market almost like a big soft blanket. Takes a lot of work, but very helpful. Now there's a premium player. Now, I mentioned to you a little bit earlier, an industry leader. A premium player is similar. They're less interested in how they're perceived, more interested in their margins, right? They want to, everybody has a nice watch, they keep track of their phone and all that. Then these guys will come out and say, look at this. This is your grandfather's gold-plated watch that would never be seen anywhere else, and only you get this. It's worth $7,000. That kind of thing. That's a premium provider. Regulation navigator. There's a lot of regulations and restrictions out there, so these are people that know how to work their way through that. They're usually connected with the Fed, or they know people in the state, and so they want to make sure that they can move forward quickly and not get hung up with regulations. Then there's a reputation player. Now that's kind of similar to the category leader, but these are people that have been around a long time, and their attitude is, we don't have to work too hard. We have a reputation. We're known for this. We do this. We're quite good at it. Everybody says so. We have great reviews on the internet, and our reputation, precedes us. Then we have 4 more. The risk absorber. This is a guy or gal that reaches out and says, I see a business over there. I'm going to go after that, and it may or may not, work out, but I'm going to have another business emerging over here. So if it doesn't work out, then I'll have another business over here that I can focus on. But the 2 of them, if they actually work together, could make me a fortune in, a year or 2. It's just incredible. So they're thinking that way. Most businesses are not. They just want one business to succeed, but that kind of a business, entrepreneurial, very creative, knows how to combine things and generate profits nobody else would even think of. A solutions provider. We're wrapping up here. This is very common. This is especially in a B2B situation, but also B2C. So in other words, we're not going to do anything until we understand the problem you have, Mr. Customer. And, frankly, most salespeople and businesses, they don't really fully understand what the customer really wants, how he or she is struggling, and how they could solve that problem. It's a very interesting dance, I'll call it, creating that sale and then trying to see if how they work with it, how they absorb it, how they go one step at a time. Very important that they can provide a solution. Then there's a value player, which is kind of price-oriented. We're in the 4th value revolution right here. It began in the late 80s with Taco Bell, and here we are in 2026. Everybody's cutting prices. They're trying to get the consumers to come in, of course. And then finally, suggest a pure tone. That, in other words, is a different graphic altogether, a wholly different way to, basically provide your services or product and surround them with some kind of an unusual image or color, so people feel like it's like listening to the late Andy Warhol somehow do an incredible painting of your rather mundane product. But it's dressed up and people feel like there's something really special about this product and this brand. And let's go ahead and experiment with that. I just love how it's packaged. That's really what we're talking about here, is packaging. And that can be all you need if you think it all the way through and you have the right artist on your team. All right, well, there you go. 16 different ways to create strategy around your product or service. You should be going, wow, I got all that. Fantastic. Thank you, Lynn Hinderaker. Thank you, WowBiz Nebraska. We appreciate you watching. This has been a particularly special show. Don't forget the first part of it with the brand for Omaha, Nebraska. I will see you very soon. Take care.